So we're just back from northern Italy and the launch of the Yamaha Tracer 700, which took place in the beautiful area around the Dolomite Mountains. Now that's quite poignant, A, because it was beautiful, the scenery is gorgeous, but B, the roads that we used were predominantly all this sort of switchbacks, lots of hairpin bends. So now Yamaha really struck gold when they introduced that twin-cylinder 689cc engine back about 3 years ago in the MT-07. It was then used last year for the more sport classic XSR 700, and Yamaha have sold something like 95,000 of the MT-07 and the XSR 700 since. So when they announced that we're going to be using that engine once again, we kind of knew it was going to be a good thing. The Tracer 700 is based on what we know as the MT-09 Tracer, which Yamaha have rebranded the Tracer 900. So it's a taller, slightly longer wheelbase version of the MT-07, which means it's more of a sports tourer. So it's easier to ride, it's less fruity with its sort of geometry than the MT-07. It's not as keen to wheelie, let's say, because of that new aluminium swing arm, which is slightly longer. It's also got a different rear damping. It's just where the link to the chassis is slightly changed. So it means that it's less saggy than the MT-07, which was probably one of its only downsides. So at £6,299, the 74 brake horse-powered Tracer 700 represents some excellent value, particularly when you think about how agile, how light it is too, 196 kilos, which actually makes it about 20 kilos lighter than the V-Strom and about 18 kilos lighter than the Versys as well. So they're both, you know, the closest rivals on paper. Well, what's it like to ride? As I said, we've been testing the bike on a lot of these sort of switchback roads, so it meant that we were hard on the brakes into a tighter corner and then hard on the accelerator out again, which did nothing for the MPG, by the way. The Yamaha claimed 65, we got it to about 40, but really not going to get it any less than 40. Because, like I said, we're hard on the brakes, into the corner, hard on the accelerator, first, second, third gear, and repeat. So the red line's 10,500 or so, but you've got a lot of pull, that sort of low to mid range, and quite a lovely languid throttle action. The gearbox is nice and long as well. The gears are pretty tall, so you can get, you know, easily 70 miles an hour or so in second gear. So it's nice. It's got a lot of elasticity, that engine, a lot of versatility. One of the trump cards with the Tracer 700 is actually its choice of tyres. Now these are standard fit for a Yamaha for the first time, the Michelin Road Pilot 4. Really, really handy, especially around the sort of terrain and the roads that we were using them on. Some potholes, craggy little roads, but they held on really, really nicely. So overall, the Tracer 700 is a practical bike, if not sexy. And if that's the only criticism, then I think Yamaha are onto a good thing. You can read our full review at bikesocial.co.uk.